My name is William Campbell Murray Maxton. My father was a Scotchman and my mother was an Albany girl.
Eric James Maxton. I was born on the 6th of the 1st of 1924. Yeah.
He's the baby brother.
Yeah.
We're greatly honoured to receive this military award for our service to France during the Second World War. It's a wonderful medal and everybody is congratulating us, and it's nice at our stage of life to have something happen like this. Yeah,
it certainly put the icing on the cake as far as our life's concerned. It's just so wonderful, isn't it, really?
Yeah, we've just been across to Canberra and met the British Prime Minister and the Prime Minister of Australia, and my birthday's on the same day as his. That's why he's so motivated. It was quite an experience because I flew G for George, that's a Lancaster in the Memorial in Canberra. I flew it on an air test in London and in Britain during the war, and then we had lunch with the Prime Minister beneath that, and that was...
yeah, wonderful.
Wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
Now I'd like to call two very special persons, because at the end this evening it's to say thank you to our diggers. And tonight we have the privilege to have two gentlemen who fought during the Second World War, and they are representing their fellow diggers. So could you please come along, Mr. Eric and Merci Maxton.
Madam Chair Christine, and all dignitaries here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we stand before you very proudly and thank the French government for this wonderful Chevalier Legion of Honour. Our time during the war, the Second World War, started really on the 6th of June 1944 when the Allies invaded Normandy, and they landed on the beaches at Normandy, and that's when we were called in to defend France. The Allies advanced inland for 3 weeks and then was held up on the outskirts of Caen, the capital, and Bomber Command was called in to bomb in front of the troops to pulverise the German defences and their troops so that the advance could continue, and that's what we did. It was on the 7th of July 1944, on a beautiful summer's day at 10,000 feet, that we bombed the German 500 metres in front of the Allied lines, and that must have been successful because the Allies took the city a few days after. Now, I had my brother Eric in the same aircraft, which is a bit unusual, but he was a professional at his job as a Wallace operator. I was the pilot of a Lancaster bomber which had 7 crew. There were 6 Australians and 1 English engineer. We were all professionals at what we did. We trained for 2.5 years to fly this great Lancaster bomber. It was a great thrill to fly this huge aeroplane of 7,000 horsepower. We used to carry 12 tonne of bombs and 2,000 gallons of fuel. After we'd bombed the Germans at Caen, we went to the marshalling yards at Tours, and our job was to try and halt the Germans bringing up reinforcements to the front so that a bridgehead could be established. Eric will tell you about the raid and what happened after.
Thanks, Murray. Yes, this was our first raid. We'd been designated to 460 Squadron in Britain, which was a very famous Australian bomber squadron. Our CO was Group Captain Sir Huey Edwards, whose memorial is down in Fremantle now, and he was one of the finest men I have ever encountered in my life. As brothers, he gave us a good talk when we went over to see him, and asked us if our parents knew at home, and of course they did not know that we were flying together. That is a long story. In those days, if they had found out what had happened, they would have probably shot us. It was like treason. But anyway, we was there 3 weeks before anybody knew we were still flying. And this kept going on from station to station until we was going over to 460 Squadron, which was an Australian squadron. And we went over to see Sir Huey Edwards, and he gave us a good pep talk. Said, you know what'll happen if you get shot down? You'll both die. And of course, I was 20, he was about 23. We weren't going to die. We were so well trained. And anyway, he took us on our first raid. And I can remember going in on this beautiful day, a day like today in Perth. And the countryside in France looked absolutely beautiful. And then this mayhem started. And we come back to interrogation, is where the intelligence officers query the crews on what they saw and what the flak was like. And the instructor said, the intelligence officer said, what was the flak like? And the rear gunner said, as heavy as hell. And I said, you can say that again. And Huey Edwards, the boss, he said, slight to moderate. And the rear gunner looked at me and he said, well, what the hell is heavy going to be like? Well, we were soon to know, because after about 3 weeks of pounding the Germans in Normandy, we were shifted onto the Ruhr to such targets as Stuttgart, Essen, Duisburg, and these sort of places, Saarbrücken, which were very hard targets. And we soon learnt what it was like. But I'll probably never have another opportunity, but I'd like to say that this little bloke here was probably one of the best pilots that Bomber Command ever had. And I thank Murray to this day for what he's done. My brother's a better talker than me, so I'll let him continue.
We bombed several targets in France. After the tours, we bombed Air-sur-Lys and Fontaine-le-Marmion, where the German troops and armour was trying to escape from the Allies following them up. We went 4 times to Calais and bombed the German outer defences, and we went to Le Havre, and we made 2 trips to Bordeaux, that's down the south of France, where and we blew up the oil storage tanks down at Bordeaux. And that was an 8-hour trip, which was a bit full on. We had to go there twice. The Germans weren't quite prepared for us the first time, but the second time they give us a bit of a hard time.
I was 24.
Before the World War II, I didn't really believe in miracles, but here we stand tonight. It's a bit of a miracle for us both to be here and escape from that lot. There was a...
Thank the French. Thank the French.
Yeah, I've got to thank the French, especially the French underground, that went in after night, the men and women of France, and brought our airmen that were shot down, gave them false passports, tended their wounds, fed them, and escorted them to the French coast, where they generally hopped on a fishing boat and went back home to fight again. They were very brave and courageous people, and we're deeply indebted to them. We also want to thank the French people again for this wonderful honour. There's a lot of untold stories of bravery and during the war that are never told. 2 years ago, I visited the war graves in Villers Bretonneux, and we went up to Lille. We were based in Lille, and we went up to Ypres in Belgium. And you've got to give thanks to the War Graves Commission for the way they tend the graves, and for all those Australians and Allied young men, some are only 17 years of age, that are resting now in beautiful cemeteries, and it's a credit to France and the War Graves Commission. All right, you say something now.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the French government and all those concerned, and the Minister for Defence from France who come out and presented this award to us. It's really the icing on the cake as far as we're concerned, and we're so proud, and it's just so marvellous. You can't understand just how much it is. All I wish is that the rest of our crew who are now passed away had been alive to help us celebrate this award, and especially our ground crew. Without them, we wouldn't be here today. They were so wonderful. I'd also like to thank all the French people and that's put on this marvellous show tonight for us. It's been absolutely marvellous. Thank you, everybody. Vive la France.
No, you did very well. Thank you very much, Eric and Murray. Thank you very, very much for this beautiful speech. It's very hard to compete with the Légion d'honneur. So we have a little token of to thank you. We would like to give you just something to bring home. And thank you again for coming from Albany to Perth tonight.
It's our pleasure.
Especially for this evening. So thank you from the bottom of our heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're doing it the French way.
Thank you very much.